right, hello YouTube. How you doing today? Anyone who is kind of tuning in here, it is March 12th, 2025. And if any of you have followed my YouTubes before, you live streams before, you may notice I'm in a different place. So this now is my hair. Let me pop this off here real quick. This is now my new office. So no more unfinished basements as previously found. It is wonderful to just be, in a normal office for once and being able to just do this kind of thing, have heat and air conditioning, and have a legit good time here. Yeah, welcome to today's little thing here. Just want to say, great to have anyone here. For the two people that are currently live watching, can you hear me okay? I just want to get a mic check. I am doing some new equipment. I want to make sure everything's a little bit better. I should already have a better video than I've had in the past, so just want to make sure. Can you guys hear me okay? Everything great? Kev, appreciate you as always, brother. Beautiful. Alrighty, so got a nice little thing on the wall over here. Let me grab it. So, thing I'm super excited about. As always, a lot of stuff that I like to put on here, I always do as kind of overviews that BMW officially puts out there. So I never want to give anyone kind of speculation unless we literally say, hey, this is speculation. We don't want to give you a thing that's wrong. And by the way, yes, I am wearing a mini shirt. And yeah, so some things that have recently come out about the Neue Klasse. We've talked about some of the other benefits of the Neue Klasse coming out. For anyone who does not know, obviously, Kevin, I apologize because you've heard me say this umpteen times at this point. But BMW is, as of 2026, or rather as of the 2026 model year, they're splitting off into two different styles of cars altogether. So no longer will their electric cars, with the exception of the iX, of course, currently, no longer will the electric cars that BMW puts out be a shared platform situation. They're going to now branch off into their own separate class altogether, known as the Neue Klasse or New Class vehicles. So this NK platform is going to be completely electric only. That'll house the 6th generation BMW battery technology, where they're moving from a modular battery platform to cylindrical battery platforms. That's going to give it a higher energy density, faster charging, move to an 800-volt architecture. And it sounds from everything that we've kind of deciphered that BMW has put on so far is they're going to be moving from a 12-volt to a 48-volt architecture on these vehicles as well. Other major benefits of this is going to be, of course, that it's coming out with BMW's iDrive 10, which will feature their panoramic instrument cluster and augmented reality head-up display, which is kind of awesome. And from what I've seen on the prototypes of this, it's really, really cool. I really wish I could show you guys the prototypes that I've seen so far, because the prototypes are amazing all around, and massive fan. And number one thing that everyone's kind of asked me about so far, not only on this live stream in the past, but also people that have actually known that I've seen these things in person, is with the newer panoramic view that you get in the iDrive 10 setup. Does it seem like it's too high? And honestly, the way they did it is, the way I can describe it is, right now, if you're in a BMW, you basically sit there, and as you're, let me flip you over here. So as you're looking out across your dashboard, you're going to see everything out in front of you. And what happens is your dash kind of rises up to meet the bottom of the glass. In the Neue Klasse, instead of that, the glass line is still the exact same height that it always is, but instead, the dash actually kind of drops down into your view. So it's a very natural. It doesn't like interfere, and actually has better sight lines than I've seen in other BMWs as of late. Obviously, as cars get newer, they need to have better safety standards, and of course, things get thicker, whether that's weight-wise to house all the newer technology, or whether that is safety-wise, so the actual trash structure gets a little beefier as time goes on. But cars are getting thicker. But now it's sort of kind of going the opposite way. Like, fantastic visualization. If you haven't seen, what is it? Beamer, not Beamer Tech. Oh God. not Beamer file. I apologize. I am blanking in my brain. But there's one of the guy who writes for Beamer files did the test drive in the actual Neue Klasse. Basically, best way to describe it is the i3M. It's a 1,300 horsepower, 4-motor electric vehicle, extremely high performance, and it is out of this world. Like, holy living hell, is amazing. But that's all going off into the weeds. Obviously, what I want to go over today is this little guy that I have right here. This is a 2-page printout of the latest thing that BMW's put out there involving the Neue Klasse. So the Neue Klasse in the next generation of BMW's new stuff is not only going to be extremely fast, but also extremely efficient. And in this case, horsepower is not the only thing that's going to be overpowered with these new vehicles, but also processing power. And that's sort of what I'm showing here. So, by the way, obviously, as always, if anyone wants to just leave comments below, I'll highlight them as we go and kind of do a little side note on all that. This won't be an overly long live stream, by the way. I know sometimes these become like hour and a half. I'm trying and keep this thing to about half an hour max. But yeah, so in terms of all that, this should be a whole bunch of fun. And what they've basically said here is B&W has, if you followed Rivian, so Rivian has been doing this thing that's kind of really brilliant in how they put it together, and they call it, I'm trying to remember exactly what they call it. I believe they called it zone architecture is the way I believe was the terminology they used. Obviously, if anyone knows this, correct me in the comments if I'm completely butchering this. But zone architecture, which basically means that instead of a bunch of different systems running through either one or maybe a small system that works interconnected between each other, is they actually start zoning individual areas for different things. So like they have the car's information center that you interact with having its own particular brain that runs on its own high power system, and then they have the vehicle stability stuff on its own separate system, and then they have augmented reality on its own separate system. So I believe theirs was a 3-zone architecture overall. And the thing that kind of blew my mind about this is BMW is moving to a 4-zone architecture, which is huge. And some of the biggest things that they're moving with this, and the thing I highlighted on here specifically, is a fundamental component of the digital nervous system is the radically simplified wiring harness. So this so-called zonal wiring harness architecture, so I wasn't too far off, brain, uses 600 meters less wiring and brings 30% weight savings compared to previous generations. Huge stuff. Awesome. Also, I apologize. I have my camera mounted up there instead of down here. So my screen's down here, which is why I'm looking down here. Oh, hi, Meow Meow. You can't fit in that box, so you can't fit. If she fits, she sits. Anyway, so the major benefit of this is, and I've actually had a wonderful argument in one of my YouTube guys with one of my YouTube guys who was trying to tell me that Ethernet cables is faster than Ethernet cables are faster than, basically fiber optics. And I was like, that's definitely not the case. Okay, but whatever. Anyway, but that all factors in with this particular stuff and information that is in here because, as I said in here, the wiring harness is divided into 4 zones: front end, center, rear, and roof. The roof part I find especially interesting. I had where did I put you? And of course I got rid of it in the background. Apologies. Give me a second here. Let me go back to the BMW. Put this stuff on. load the page, please, so I don't let you guys wait too long. Okie dokie. So, let me get back to you guys so I can show you what I'm looking at here. All right. And present, share screen, allow. Alrighty, so I don't know if you guys can see this on my main page. This is, of course, my whole setup here. And I'm going to make this thing full screen for you real quick, so that way I can get a little more. Give me more of these. There we go. All right, and let's see if I can zoom in. How can I zoom in on this thing? Nope, go back. Okay, so this is basically showing over the super brain high-speed connections, all the stuff that's here, and of course it's way too flippin' small. So let me download this real quick. Okay, or not real quick. But anyway, I apologize because this thing is nearly impossible for you to see at this current rate here. I can zoom around this as much as I want, but my current setup, I can't zoom in, which is making this extremely annoying on my end. But the four things, they have four major hardware brains in there, if you will. They have the core brain, the brain of the panoramic iDrive, so iDrive 10. They have the brain of automated driving. So yes, there will be some level 2 plus and level 3 stuff activated in this. Whether or not we'll see off highway and on highway stuff. Oh, there we go. It's nice, a little bit bigger. Let me see if I can get this other one downloaded in the back here. And actually, let me show a little something better here. So let's switch this guy to share screen, the window, poopy. Boom. All right. With that up, can you guys see that okay? Like, is this big enough for you to see? How about now? Bigger? Thumbs up, thumbs down. That's great, JP. I hated JP. WTF are you doing, JP? All the above. All right. Well, anyway, while the other one downloads, I'll show you guys this guy. So the idea behind it is each of these guys is doing its own individual zone, which is kind of amazing, awesome, and especially helpful in terms of getting all the various information exactly where it wants to be. And so they have the core brain, that's the one on the lower left. That one's going to be basic vehicle stuff, things it needs to do. It's going to have its own brain for the BMW panoramic iDrive. So that includes the iDrive itself, panoramic vision view, as well as the head-up display. That's the augmented reality stuff. They have another one solely for automated driving. So that's all of BMW's ADAS platform stuff. And then the last one, which, by the way, I wish, I'm not sure why they named it this, but they call it the Heart of Joy, which is their driving dynamics platform. So that's all in there. And then going to a little more details that we have in here that kind of make it, super worthwhile in terms of that. Oh, great. This thing just downloads. So let me switch over to that screen so I can show that to you. Let's remove that and stop sharing that and instead share you. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Mr. Worldwide is a step in the room. All right, so got that. Let's make this thing bigger again for you. So this is exactly the thing I was just reading out to you, and it shows exactly what those four individual kind of super brains are doing on the inside there. So they all have those. Those brains are connected via high-speed data connections to smaller control units, zonal controllers, which manage and consolidate the data flow of the electronics in and out of the zones. Wiring within the vehicle is therefore zone-related and thus can be shorter, thinner, and lighter. So all this stuff not only found benefits of that, but of course fiber optics mean that it all operates 10 times faster than a standard system, which is great. So packets of information can be sent a lot faster and more efficiently with less energy, which means that there's less power needed for all this, which means better efficiency. It's just all these wonderful things kind of combine to make it a fantastic little setup, and I'm just love it. Absolutely in love with it. Now, a crucial part, I'll read directly off this for you here so that we know exactly what their situation is. They call them super brains, mind you, 4 super brains for the Neue Klasse: more intelligent, more efficient, more powerful. A crucial prerequisite for the thinner and lighter wiring are the so-called smart E-fuses. Now, these are digital fuses that replace up to 150 traditional fuses. The smart fuses can be intelligently programmed for digitally controlled energy distribution to the components. The selective activation of the components allows the design of the intelligent power modes for various system states, such as driving, parking, charging, updating, upgrading, and upgrading, which is unnecessary, in which unnecessary consumers can be identified and switched off, making the car more effective. Thus, the e-fuses make significant contribution to the 20% improved energy efficiency of the vehicle. The completely new development of the architecture from the basis of the new SVD. Where did they say what that was? Superbrain something. They said that in another part of the article, which I didn't highlight, of course, because I'm a moron. Anyway, from the launch of the Neue Klasse, the upcoming models will benefit from this. The first fully electric derivative of the Neue Klasse will go into series production later this year in the plant in Hungary, which, if you didn't know, all of BMW's plants worldwide are all completely green energy fed. Anyway, advanced new software architecture of the architecture of the BMW builds on this new electronic architecture. The multitude of digital functions is crucial, and with the multitude of digital functions, it is crucial that the functions can be continuously developed on stable platforms rather than being newly developed on every new generation. This is precisely what is achieved with the Neue Klasse, and the new platforms run on the respective superbrains, and the vehicle functions run on top of those. The shared service layer act as a connective element or a middleware, and provides, among other things, state-of-the-art cybersecurity, flexible over-the-air updates, which enables consumer-relevant AI functions thanks to intelligent networks across domain data sources. So again, AI functions. Now, obviously, if you follow any of the other self-driving stuff, a lot of things, especially, for instance, Tesla's latest FSD actually uses AI. I was actually doing a little EV kind of drive electric Earth Month event. There's another one happening next week. I will not be able to go to, but I like to do these things, talk with other EV owners, and just kind of get the general sense of what people do, not only why they buy other vehicles, but things that are coming out with other vehicles that might be worth knowing as a BMW human myself. But one of the benefits of this is Tesla right now is currently using AI as some of their actual smart driving stuff. One of the things that was pointed out to me in my talking with another Tesla owner at this event that I was at, they were talking about how their car was actually driving. It had the navigation itself had a particular way it was going, where it said basically it was going straight through. There's some construction up ahead. It had a red zone there. And so it was like, I'm going to go forward here. Instead of going through that light, the AI part of the self-driving actually said, no, I'm going to turn left. It turned left, went on a side street to bypass this entire thing, even though the main navigation was still saying it wants to go straight ahead. So there is some smart navigation stuff happening out there as of right now. And a lot of them are extremely impressive. Now, what this means for the ultimate drive machine is, of course, up for grabs, and it depends on exactly what you think. I personally think having full self-driving is good because it opens us up to more potential buyers and owners, which is never a bad thing. But what I think it could fall flat on its face is being the ultimate driving machine. If you are not the one driving, what is the point? But again, personal view, obviously, if you guys have an opinion on that, let me know in the comments below. And, we could talk about that more, or I'll make an entirely separate live stream just to go over this kind of concept, and we can kind of powwow and do some other thoughts on it. So the idea is that then if you've all seen Rivian has released their latest version of automated driving. I believe at this point they're fully hands-free on the highways with off-highway stuff coming later this year. Now, something you may know is obviously BMW only offers hands-free driving on the highway with activated lane change as long as you have the latest highway assistant capable vehicle. Now, as good as that is, and it is extremely good, fantastic. I love the system. It doesn't change lanes when you don't want it to. It's very intelligent with how it does it. Obviously, it's limited because it's only on HD mapped highways, which is expensive, but not everywhere. And that also means you don't get it off highways. So if you're looking for complete hands-free driving, obviously this isn't where to get it. But the safety functionality of these things, I think, makes it much more capable. I would love to see, especially as these things get more and more intelligent, I would love to have situations where certain pro drivers can drive on a track in a vehicle that takes all the telemetrics of that drive and then can recreate their legendary lap in your vehicle on the same track, taking their lines, their speed, everything into account. I would love to see something like that just to make it fun for people that have maybe never tracked the car or want to see what it would be like to do so and see how that was. Oh, hello, baby. Coming down to see me while I'm working? My other kitty cat's now down here. Yara. Want to say hi, baby? Nope. Okay, scare her away. Ooh, yes. 1,000% agreed. Inside EVs has been doing great stuff. I am a big fan of their channel. And yeah, so a lot of the manufacturers out there are doing this kind of zonal architecture now. And while BMW is definitely not the first in doing this, I will say I personally believe that because they have over 5,000 people working on this across the BMW group worldwide, I think that they will be probably one of the best at doing it. One of our fellow managers is a really big fan of saying what other manufacturers do well, BMW does brilliantly. There might be some hiccups in that, like for instance, the new X3 styling that may or may not be other people's cup of happy sauce. Anywho, getting into a little bit more of the nitty-gritty of this, and again, breaking down exactly what's already sent out by BMW themselves. Again, I'll read directly from them so you know what they're saying here. For the Neue Klasse, the development teams are working on well over 1,000 software modules, over 20 gigabytes of software, and over 5 million lines of code, which ultimately can be integrated into the superbrains and the rest of the electronic architecture in the vehicle. To achieve this, BMW has established a solid foundation of future-proof and highly effective software development in its recent years. Personal gripe with that. Okay, as a previous pre-iDrive 8.5 i4 owner, I personally got very unhappy about this concept. Because when iDrive 8 first came out, the BMW said, this is our future-proof, and then they never future-proofed it because they immediately came out with a newer version, 8.5, which you could not update to unless you had Service Pack 22, which was, really? Ooh, that rubbed me the wrong way. But Bottom line is they're doing it now. Obviously, with the move to iDrive 9, they have that same kind of upgradable architecture with the Android Automotive open source system that they use in iDrive 9. And a lot of that's also going to find its way into iDrive 10. So, in terms of updatability, I love it. I think it's going to be fantastic. And yes, I'm sorry. Every time I read, they have this the driving particular super brain that they have in there. The fact that they call it the heart of joy. I'm just sort of like I feel like it's kind of inside the machine, or was it Ghost in the Shell? I feel like that's kind of like heart of joy. I'm waiting for a little tiny Japanese person to come out and superimpose herself right here and be like, "Konnichiwa." Anyway, and I apologize. I have no idea what that's not actual Japanese. It's just me being culture blind on that. So I apologize if I offended anyone in doing that. All right, so motor and chassis controls are combined into a single unit for the first time and respond with a delay of less than 1 millisecond, 10 times faster than the previously used control units. Second super brain for the automated driving controls the latest generation of automated and highly automated driving functions. It integrates what was previously distributed across 4 control units into one powerful computing unit that has 20 times the computing power compared to the previous generation. All these things, only good things. So it thinks faster, reacts faster, all this, all good stuff. Third super brain controls BMW's panoramic iDrive and thus the digital experience in the vehicle. This is what I was showing earlier. Here, if I need to throw this thing back up on the brain here, let me get this guy. Boom, boom. So there. This is literally the breakdown of this thing that we're seeing here. Let me make this thing full screen so you can see it there. So third super brain controls BMW's panoramic iDrive, thus the digital experience of the vehicle with infotainment operating system, BMW operating system 10. It orchestrates all of the content in BMW's panoramic vision, 3D head-up display, center display, as well as voice integration, entertainment, and navigation. This super brain ensures that the intuitive customer experience of BMW's panoramic iDrive and expands it with intelligent AI-supported and cloud-based functions. Fourth but not last is the super brain responsible for the basic functions and acts of the center control for managing the vehicle states. It controls fundamental functions such as vehicle access, climate and comfort, interior and exterior lighting, data flow and processing, as well as remote software updates. Up to 100 vehicle functions are integrated into the single unit and is connected to up to 50 sensors throughout the car, which is a lot. Like a lot. Intelligent processing of the data by the super brains in the vehicle enables optimized data exchange with BMW's cloud. Now, if anyone here is brand new to this or you have no idea, of course I'm covering myself with that. Let me pop this down here. So if anyone is new to this situation with BMW does have a cloud that has your personal information on it. Now that the information is shared unless it's an emergency situation. So if the SOS function is tripped, you are incapacitated and paramedics need your information, they can BMW can give this to paramedics for things like extra people to get in contact with, emergency contacts, things of that nature, your name, your date of birth, stuff that can actually save your life if you are incapacitated and unable to answer this, or if your wallet is not easily found on you. So that kind of stuff can actually save lives at the end of the day, even though a lot of people are sort of like, I don't really want it there. But again, benefit of it is it's just really effective because it can do a lot of things. Lately, with this latest generation, it's to the point where if you hop into a BMW, you've never had a BMW before, or if you own a previous BMW, it can actually take as much stuff as it can from one BMW platform and put it on another. So moving between 5 series, moving from an iX to an X5, X5 to an X7, things that can actually transfer between the vehicles, it will do so it goes immediately to your preferred temperature settings, your preferred seat settings. If the platform shares something like head-up, seat, and all those displays, it'll actually go directly to your previous version of that when you get in, linked to your BMW ID. All this is just really good stuff, and it's great to have on the cloud. How they're going to optimize the rest of this information with the cloud, I'm curious to see. I'm assuming it's going to be a crowdsourcing situation, similar to how uneven roads are currently put out there for BMW to all the BMWs out there. It also might help with real-time navigation and things of that nature. Say, I don't know, a mile up the road, one BMW hits heavier traffic, and it's not yet registered as heavy traffic, but it notices the extreme slowdown. Then it might be able to tell other BMWs behind it, hey, by the way, hop off here and go around this. Maybe it's that kind of level. I know there have been lots of talks about how vehicles that have 5G or 5G connectivity should be able to have kind of vehicle-to-vehicle communication, which we haven't really seen yet, but I'm assuming it will eventually happen. And that thing I mentioned earlier, totally forgot. It's actually in here. BMW is managing the digital transformation with a constant long-term strategy. With the founding of BMW Car IT over 20 years ago, software development began in-house, and since then, the company has expanded its developmental teams in a global network. In total, BMW employs around 10,000 IT and software experts worldwide. So yeah, and again, all this is available at bmwusanews.com if you ever want to see these informations. I always just kind of relay this in a way that people can see physically and have a person to talk with in real time. So you're not just reading something on the page, you have a level of interaction with someone from BMW themselves. With that, I'll open up the floor to anyone who is still watching, anyone who wants to cover a different context, different topic, want to mention anything else they've heard in the car news. If you want to know, anyone that's also interested, tariffs. So BMW now has a strategy going forward with tariffs. As of right now, obviously, BMW in North America only makes cars in Mexico that would be affected by the tariffs. Directly in terms of the vehicle itself is the 2 Series and 3 Series and M2. As of right now, those guys are not currently hitting yet, only because the tariffs are going to be anything that is imported from that point. So anything that is in the pipeline, anything before May, are not affected by this. But as of May, the BMW North America is currently in talks with the Trump administration to try and find out where concessions can be made for how big a company we are, and trying to make it so that the fewest possible things are impacted. But for now, the next 2 months will be sales as normal. So if you are interested in a 3 Series or 2 Series or an M2, now is definitely time to go to your local BMW dealer and get that vehicle now before the tariffs come up. Because if you don't know, 2 Series, 3 Series, and M2 are all made down in the Mexico plant. They would be directly affected by the 25% tariff that went into effect yesterday, 2 days ago. I can't remember when the tariffs officially went, but they would be affected by that very soon. With that, that is all for tonight. Guys, thanks so much. Thanks for jumping in, for everyone that watched this. If you're catching this later on the YouTube after it's already posted and catching this after the fact, again, the date of this is March 12th. As said in the beginning of this, if you're catching it now, is March 12th, 2025, that this is being recorded. Obviously, changes may happen in the near future. I'll always try and keep you guys up to date as I can. And now, of course, that I have an actual setup here, again, I have a lot more flexibility in being able to do this more frequently for you guys. So move is done. I have an actual office here. And yeah. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great night. Obviously, if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the usual things. Believe it or not, only 97% of the people are not subscribed to this channel. But we're sitting at just shy of 15,000 subscribers to the channel itself. And it is just me at this channel. So even though I work for a dealership, there's no one that helps me with this. It is solely me. So anyone who has a free person to just simply subscribe. You don't need to hit the subscribe bell or the notifications bell or anything like that. Just subscribing helps me out, gets me a little extra resources to be able to, point to my parent company here to be like, hey, this affects people. Just this past month, for instance, we actually had over 1 million views on the channel itself, which feels great. To that note, if just 25% of those people shared it, that's over 250,000 people. Come on, please subscribe. It helps. It really does. And I hear my littlest one just woke up, so perfect timing. So I need to go get him and make sure he has not wet his diaper. So yeah, I also in the future would like to do, let me know if you guys think this is a good idea in the comments. I would like to do kind of a comparison of some upcoming vehicles, not just from BMW, but other manufacturers, things that have come out. Get your guys' kind of take on where you think the current market is, whether EV sales are slowing down in your general area, whether they're picking up. Obviously, most sales in general right now are a little bit haywire because stock market's all over the place, and it's a little bit difficult to have anything for certain under anyone's belt. But yeah. Anyways, thanks everyone again. Have a wonderful rest of your night. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see what we can do to, bring you more content more frequently now that everything's set up for me here. Direct hardwire in, and I'm expanding my entire setup here. So actually, if you want to see, come on, you don't do that.